So there's a lot of videos coming out on this car in the future. I'm still not done putting together videos on the last car that I did a big restoration project on. But we did the same thing with this one. We have a lot of stuff. We got video footage. I'm going to show you some of the more fun features that we put into this car. So this is one of my favorite features, and this all came about because this is a DX model Civic that would have never had a tachometer from the factory. No RPM gauge whatsoever, even though it's a manual transmission, did not have a tach. And I was going to need some kind of gauge, and I didn't want pillar gauges or a big ugly one sitting up on the dash. I wanted something a little more modern, and so I found the Real Dash app and initially just wanted to have a phone mount or a tablet mount off to the side that would display the Real Dash app, and I'd have my tachometer and whatever other gauges I wanted to see. But the more I fell down that hole and started looking at Real Dash and how customizable everything was, I really started looking into putting this mount system in the car. It's pretty cool what I was able to do. So it fires up all on its own. You can put an intro video or an intro picture, of course, whatever. But here's where it gets fun. Everything's functional. It'll tell me when the bright lights are on, headlights on. It even will tell me when my e-brake is up. It'll tell me when I pop the trunk. But this is the fun part. This is the part you're gonna love. What is that? That's how customizable this is. Like, whatever image you want to use. I can't get enough. That's so fun. So here's a clip where I'm testing out the speedometer, making sure everything's working. The cool thing about using this Samsung tablet instead of a pre-configured digital dash unit is we have the GPS signal, we have all of the movement sensors inside that tablet, so it opens up way more features that we can use with Real Dash. For example, that speedometer we can run from the vehicle's speed sensor, or we can run it off of the GPS signal on the tablet itself. Real Dash also has the capability of running a navigation screen within it also, so it can use the tablet's GPS to run that navigation. But one really cool feature using this tablet is the wireless capability. I can configure everything to where the CAN bus and all the additional signals not coming from the computer all can run through a wireless box that uses a Bluetooth signal to communicate with the tablet. So I can literally remove the tablet from the dash, walk around the car. I've tested it up to about 60 feet away from the car, and we still receive all of those signals wirelessly. We're going to move on to the rest of the update now, but if you're interested to see what all it took to get all of this functional, I am putting together a more detailed video that will go over this whole digital dash tablet setup and all of the equipment it took to make that wireless signal functional. This old Civic definitely could use a little body and paint, but let's put this car on the lift and see what lies beneath. So it may not look that great from the outside, but if you were to get under this car and look around, you would think you had flashed back 25 years and we're looking at a brand new Civic, with a few modifications, of course. The entire underbody was thoroughly pressure washed, cleaned, scuffed down by hand, cleaned again, and then coated with an epoxy to make sure this car has the best corrosion protection possible in the years moving forward. You'll also notice all the pretty brake and suspension parts that we've put on. Once again, I'm going to do a video that fully details every little piece that we restored, the entire process, and all of the upgrades that we made to the suspension and brakes and fuel lines and everything else on the chassis of the car. Speaking of fuel lines, we also upgraded the entire fuel system while we were under here. The tank was cleaned out, all couplers and clamps replaced with stainless steel hardware. We installed the Skunk 2 dual fuel pump hanger and installed a couple of Works fuel pumps while we were at it. There's been a whole lot of work done under the hood, obviously. The only thing done under here that I did not do myself was the machine work on the cylinder head. That was done by Shacklett's Machine Shop in downtown Nashville. Everything else, I built the motor, assembled everything, painted the engine bay, and put all these fancy gadgets everywhere. Completely rebuilt the engine harness and the body harness up here. Body harness actually runs through the frame rails so that you don't see it running up over the strut towers or anything. Cleaned it up a little bit. The engine build does have performance pistons and rods. The cylinder head does have SuperTech springs, guides, and valves. But other than that, it's pretty basic. It's just a mild boost build up here. For engine management, we got a plug-in unit from Link ECU. It fits right inside the factory ECU case. Only a minor amount of rewiring had to be done to get it to work on this particular car. We installed a factory knock sensor, as this D-Series didn't have one from the factory. We also installed Link's knock block system. This is my first time using it, and I think it's really cool. It's an electronic device that lets you listen for spark knock. I guess I should show the car running before we conclude this video. Oh, that first Ugga Dugga. So here's what we had before the engine build. And here's what we had after. But we're still untuned, so I'm not pushing it, and we're just gonna